Hi, this is Jim Moore. I'm going to be reading excerpts from an article from the November 2008 issue of Z Magazine. The article, The Battle of St. Paul by Abe Walker, basically covers the protests that happened at the 2008 RNC convention. Now, one point I want to make about this is that we're talking about the issue from the point of view of the protesters, which is in normal media outlets, what you hear from about protests is in a context of what laws were broken, where they assembled, never in a context of why were these people out here taking risks with their jobs and being risk of being arrested for an issue they cared enough about to be out there. Uh, 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 an oversight that bears having a closer look at it. Um, so this article covers what happened at the convention. To casual observers, the most enduring memory of the 2008 Republican National Convention is probably the chorus of Republicans interrupting McCain's acceptance speech chanting, "Drill, baby, drill." For 19-year-old Elliot Hughes, one of 800 protesters arrested during 4 days of street protests outside the convention hall, the memories are somewhat different. Speaking at a press conference immediately following his release from jail, he told reporters, "6 or 7 officers came into my cell, and one officer punched me in the face. The officer slammed my head onto the ground. I was bleeding everywhere. They put a bag over my head that had a gag on it, and they used pain compliance tactics on me for about an hour and a half." When asked about the incident, Ramsey County Sheriff Bob Fletcher neither confirmed nor denied the allegations, but noted Hughes was extremely disruptive in jail and it took some force to control him. Also note that the city prosecutor said they had no intention of investigating any police brutality allegations throughout this whole event. So, if there were any crimes committed, uh, the city was, it's like a bad wrestling match. They're looking over there when all that stuff's going on, and probably it is about that level of a joke. So, moving on. Uh, Most disturbing, police seem to deliberately target the alternative media, shutting down the offices of the Twin Cities Independent Media Center and raiding Eyewitness Video, an NYC-based video journalist collective with a record of documenting police brutality at mass demonstrations. Democracy Now! Radio broadcaster Amy Goodman was also arrested in the course of the demonstrations, along with 2 producers. Now, it goes on to talk about the change in the level of importance that uh, these events have in terms of the law. Lots of money and troops are allotted for these events. However, other candidates don't have that. I mean, Ralph Nader didn't have any uh, uh, Joint Terrorism Task Force helping him. Uh, let's see. There was a group there called the RNC Welcoming Committee that served as sort of a base of operations to help protest organizers organize. So there were lots of different groups that came together. And many of these, it says here, in an affidavit released several days later, revealed that police operatives had successfully infiltrated the WC, the Welcoming Committee, um, 1 year before the convention, gathering information that led to the preemptive raids and arrests. Many of the allegations of the affidavit are patently false and strain the imagination, such as the claim that anarchists plan to kidnap delegates and blow up tunnels leading to the convention center. Patently false. A spokesperson for the National Lawyers Guild, which defended some of the protesters, told the press, "This is a political prosecution in its purest form, because no one is actually accused of physically doing anything that would be violent. They're being prosecuted specifically for their political activities and what they advocated." It goes on to talk about different things that were done, uh, mostly to raise attention and get attention and slow things down. And then it concludes as saying, "At this writing, 8 activists face charges of conspiracy to commit riot in the furtherance of terrorism. Thank you, USA Patriot Act. A second-degree felony that carries the possibility of over 7 years in prison under a terrorism enhancement clause normally reserved for prisoners of war. The last use of such charges in Minnesota was in 1918 when organizers with the industrial workers of the world on the Iron Range were charged with criminal syndicalism for organizing unions. In an open letter to allies, the defendants wrote, quote, "These conspiracy charges create a convenient method for incapacitating activists with the potential for diverting limited resources towards protracted legal battles and terrorizing entire communities into silence and inaction." In an email message circulated widely just after the convention, a collective associated with the demonstrations wrote, "The upsurge associated with anti-globalization era was not a flash in the pan. And if anything, we are stronger today than 10 years ago." So there it is. Um, Freedom to assemble, freedom of the press. There's an outright war by the establishment to prevent these rather than to help them. Look forward to seeing you again in a following article.